we are talking about motivating Gen Z inside and out today, and that is, I think, top of the list of every marketer that I know. It is the future generation. It's one of the most interesting, dynamic, puzzling, and inspirational generations. And so we all want to make sure that we not only understand how to market to them and talk to them and inspire them in the real world, but frankly, also how to work with them and how to welcome this new generation into the workforce and take as much as we can from how they see the world, but also make sure we don't forget to mentor and teach along the way. So I'm excited to get into that with this crowd, this amazing crowd today, because it's truly inside and outside of the building, the thing that I'm thinking about the most. So this happens with every new generation, is that the marketers look at the data and they go, wow, this new generation is so different than anyone before. The advice I would give is separate the difference between the generation and the life stage. So I've had marketers come to me and say, Gen Z, they're just not spending that much money. And I say, no, that's because they're 17 or they're 22. They don't have the money to spend yet. Or they might say, hey, Gen Z is really interested in social justice issues. Sure they are, but so were the millennials at the same age. So were Gen X at the same age. There's always a youthful culture of pushing back against status quo. That doesn't mean it isn't important, but I think you have to separate what is a lasting, defining characteristic of a generation that isn't purely tied to life stage, and what might be also explained by the fact that they happen to be emerging into adulthood. So if you can make a bit of a chasm between those two things, you want to know the life stage stuff, but the most interesting things that I'm finding are what are the things that are truly defining the characteristics of the generation that cannot be explained by life stage. That's where you start to get the insights that are going to really help drive your marketing forward in a really exciting way. So I love Marketers That Matter. I not only consider it a critical community for me as a marketer, I love to be able to lean on this community when I'm struggling with something, look to them for inspiration when they're doing something that's amazing, and to share our knowledge with each other. I think the most defining factor of Marketers That Matter is that we are truly collaborative, and it doesn't matter if you're the chief marketer of a airplane textiles company or you're in a consumer tech startup. There's something to learn from everybody, and there's a lot of generosity of spirit. And so to be able to come with them in person it feels like coming home. I've done a lot of these events, and every time I not only see people who understand the pressures I'm under and have something to teach me, but also that I feel like I can give to, especially the younger up-and-comers. I can say, hey, I've been where you've been, I know what you're feeling, and I want to send the elevator back down for the next person, and I want to see you succeed. Here are all the mistakes I made. I want you to know them so you don't make them yourself. And it's just what a privilege to get to be with this formidable group. I feel lucky to be here. So it's funny, in spite of working at Pinterest, which of course is an online platform, our mission is to inspire people to create a life they love. And really it's about getting the inspiration on the platform to do things in the real world. That is actually where lasting happiness comes from. That's where we think learning and development and growth comes from, is when you do stuff. So to be in person, it fuels me. I couldn't love it more than I do. There are always great opportunities to connect digitally. We take maximum advantage of those within Marketers That Matter. But to come in person is just that next level of nuance, that next level of empathy, the next level of humanity. I think that really, it's like an IV drip of inspiration for me and motivation to be able to connect in the real world. That's where we actually live our lives. In spite of all the time we're spending online, the magic happens in real life. And so what a pleasure to get to be back in person. More of the same. Can't do enough of this as far as I'm concerned.